So this time, this is the cheating solution that's not actually as good as it looks. In this configuration, what we can do is we can have these blocking the inputs so that nothing can come out. And so that way, yes. And if we make half of them the blockers instead of the pushers, then we still need only one line. And that's actually inefficient routing. To here. Now, let us examine. This is actually backwards, so let's fix that immediately. There. Now, once this is done building those two plates and send them to the correct position, which we haven't actually wired in yet, it will begin the second half of the process. And both of these will be activated by the same two things. First, this counter here will detect when this portion of the process is complete. And that can actually wire directly up, I think, to here. And the second one can wire this way. This will detect when this... oh wait, no. Better yet, this one detects when the second half of the process is done. And so that can fully reset the system. Now, the only complication remaining is that since we have two inputs to the system, we don't want those subsystems interacting with each other, so we need diodes. A simple way to make a diode in this case is just a pusher that pushes directly into a sensor. This is a one-way signal sender. Things cannot flow backwards, only forwards. And so diodes are very useful in this case. And in many cases in general, actually. The other line we can send this way, up to here. And finally, here. Now let's see if this actually functions at all. Finally, able to use advanced logic. There were parts before that we used what I could possibly consider advanced logic, but nothing even comparable to this. And now it's in phase 2. Oh, you know, it'd be really cool though. A 7-segment display that displays which phase the machine is in, which state the machine is in. So actually, just for fun. And that can be routed to up here. Yes. So now in this instance, we can have... we would actually need a ROM, a full ROM, in order to have an LCD controller. That would take up too much space. Another idea is actually... hold on, I have a new idea. It will have scan lines, but it will still be a 7-segment, well, not really a 7-segment display, but still a display. It can display 2 characters only. And it will need to be out by 1 here. It will have vertical scan lines, that's uncommon. So... actually... would that even work? Oh, yes, it would, because what we can actually do is have these conveyors here pushing in what we're going to be using, and it can be probably 3. I think it'll need to be 5 wide. Yes, it can be like this, and 5 tall. It's going to look like this. Yes. Now, for the actual slide, which will slot in this way, And we'll need two different kinds of blocks to differentiate color, which should be not entirely straightforward, but close enough. This actually needs to move out by one here, like that. The card will need to be 6 blocks wide. And actually it only needs to grab onto this edge here. So state 1, which is this current state, will be that one's dark. This one here needs to be bright. And then this is the final one here. Oh, that's a problem, hold on. So that would be like that. We can have this be a different block, since that block doesn't want to work. That's a colored block. And so next, state 2 should look like a 2. Actually, wait, I think this would work. Yes. State 2 is these 3 bands here instead of the other 3. So all the bottom of that needs to be on. Like that. And just for debug, we're going to want to have this be here. Yes, that's correct. Next we want this one on, this one on, this one, and this one on. And then finally, these 2 on. Oh, that's too high, actually. What's that band even doing then? So that's 2. And this is 1. So that's functioning appropriately. We don't need this part, technically. So now let's see how it works. What an unnecessary vanity project. But look at how cool it is. Oh wait. No. It doesn't need to be... It's not this line it needs to be attached to, it's the output line. The input is only on when it's flipping over. So here. There. Now, this should be correct. Let's watch it in action. An actual state readout. Yes, look! And it will change back also once stage 2 is done. It would be nice if there wasn't scan lines, but that's the price you pay. Now we have a far too stylized hull builder. Now we can just place the hull in here and weld it in place by moving the entire assembly. I'm beginning to sense a problem with this. Alright, in that case, we actually need a part here at this elevation, a welder here, and a welder here. Or better yet, actually, hold on. There, this actually fixes the problem much better. And now, the rest of this can be handled by these 2 for positioning. Now let's see if that functions at all, or if it breaks. One thing I didn't consider is the blockers may make this slightly asynchronous to this, so these 2 systems may eventually interfere with each other. Hopefully it doesn't happen anytime soon, if ever, because it can be at only a very slightly different rate, which would only cause it to become out of phase much later on. It would slowly inch out of phase. For instance, if one of them is 1000 and the other is 1001, one of them would asynchronize by 1 every 1000 rotations. I'm not sure if that makes any sense to the non-technologically minded. Now hold on, we need to make sure that this functions correctly. It needs to go in by 1. I see what the problem is here. Now, oh yes, and you can actually have this be here to push it the rest of the way in. And then these two just need to move forward by 1 tile. Like that. There. That also means this wouldn't need to be like this anymore. That's good. Now we just need to deal with the unforgivably long wait. And go back into position just to make sure that this is functioning correctly, yet again. Yes. Oh, this was supposed to grab here and push in. I will make this one minor alteration, and then let the machine run its course and see if it eventually clogs. Because 2 parts were out of phase very slightly. Oh, that's never a good thing. That was one successful piece. Let's see if we can get another. No. This is going to clog. Because I feel like these are now at... Oh yes. I realize what the problem is. That's at half rate, which means only one of those will be sent for every 2 of these, which is not the ratio we want. You know what that means? We're going to need to discard every other one of these now. What fun. Which also means I'm going to need to figure out a way to do this part. So... this piece here. And removing this piece and placing these correctly. Now we need these to be timed to... Oh yes, this also needs memory, doesn't it? In that case... Well, that would mean we would need a new memory bit. There's no way around that, other than using a different method. In that case... we would have state 1 in which it's sent forward, and state 2 in which it is discarded. This would be state 1. We can actually have all of this controlled by this one out pin, because of that one being inverted, which which is fine. And we're going to need to be able to detect this piece. There. Now let's see if this works at all. If it's functioning correctly, then every other one should be discarded, starting with the second. First one sent forward. Yes, that's correct. Second, sent to the abyss, which is also correct. There. Now they're synchronized in the worst way possible. Because now this machine is running at half capacity at all times. Two of its inputs are blocked, which means those can't be used anymore. And a huge amount of the product is being thrown away because it can't be used. Which means, oh yeah, and since half of that total input is blocked, that means the machine is running at exactly half speed. Which means now we just sent through the third product of 10. Now is probably when you would want to, I don't know, try to solve a Rubik's Cube, eat Doritos. Oh, product placement, sorry. Don't want any accidental product placements, only intentional ones. But that's for later. Don't have any sponsors yet. Yes, this is just going to be waiting from now on until the end. Which is where I'm going to end the episode, because it's drug on for, what, an hour? No, actually over an hour. Look, in the bottom right, the number of elapsed cycles is almost over 2,000, and it will reach over 2,000. The footprint is massive, the block score is massive. Oh, look at this monster. Oh yeah, one thing that's fun we could do is watch the display while it functions. This part of the machine is probably the part I'm happiest about. That stamp over there is pretty great too, though. I just can't help but to feel that the decimal numeral system is practically obsolete. There's so many other better options. I'm not saying that it's a bad system, since it is one of the best, as is displayed by its prolificness. Prolificity. Whatever that word would be in adjective form. And then finally we only have this fusion reactor, and then we have two final puzzles, and then that's the end of the game. Goodbye.